So these tools that we receive that offer us insight into self, I'm noticing in that language that some people are using this term called New Earth.
Mhm.
That's the unfolding in which uh, we're allowing experience and knowledge and wisdom to coalesce and offer the intentions and the desires that we fine tune and tweak into creating the nextness.
Intergalactic beings of multi-dimensional realities. Welcome to Channeling.
Welcome everyone to Welcome to Channeling. My beautiful guest here today is Chris Lebaron. I met Chris just recently as a part of a crew doing a beautiful sound bath together, and that was our first interaction. And I just became delighted when I heard that he has studied intensely in the field of quantum human design. And he is expanding the teachings or the information that's there in new ways. He has started the website www.ourhumansynergy.com with his partner and is sitting here willing to speak to me about some interesting information that's coming through him and that he's going to be presenting and offering to people. Welcome, Chris. Welcome to Channeling.
Thank you. I really appreciate this opportunity, Gwen. I feel thrilled and delighted to be participating in this adventure. The
Uh,
opportunities are bountiful and ripe.
I love that. I love that. We're going to jump in today. And if any of you out there who have not experienced what human design is, it is exploding now. I've really had an enjoyable time exploring the map of me, so to speak, me as a generator, the great life experimenter, and in some charts, the alchemist, which I love. I'm enjoying that myself. And I want you to speak a little bit, Chris, just about the basics of human design and what you've discovered. And then we're going to jump into some of the new information that's coming through you.
Thank you, Gwen. I really appreciate the opportunity and the invitation to share. My human design is orchestrator, and in terms that are more familiar, projector. What that essentially means to me and others is my ability to see and perceive is immense, limitless, and expanding. Providing simple answers is sometimes challenging. Having more clarity and in the request certainly opens up a more defined answer, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me have a more defined question for you here.
Thank you.
I'm loving this play. How did you come in contact with human design? And if you could summarize what it is for people and the gift that it can be for people, how would you describe that?
There was a period of my life where I was progressing through my awareness of self, I came to a new understanding and a different perspective in which some of my behaviors were contributing to more of my pain and suffering. And the more I discovered about that, the more enthusiastic I became in understanding that I have a lot more options in life. I get to choose how I experience life. The profoundness and the quality of my life is completely within my ability to choose.
Mm-hmm.
Someone began speaking about astrology, the moon, the planet, the influence, the degrees, the angles, the positioning, the grades and the retrogrades, and all of that language behind it. It sounded interesting from a certain perspective. It wasn't really calling to my soul. It wasn't speaking directly to me in a way that I was able to implement it as much of a guide for understanding myself as that I really felt called to receive. A friend introduced me to human design, and now I begin experiencing these planets and these systems of influence and these spheres of opportunities differently, in a way that I'm able to receive more insight into life. And now allowing the language of quantum human design, in addition to human design, in addition to gene keys, in addition to these supportive ways of understanding self, offering it in a way that can speak directly to me, opening up the doors of me understanding myself in a way that is much more inspiring and much more encouraging and much more expansive.
Beautiful. So what I'm hearing, what I'm hearing really is that the human design, the quantum human design specifically, has really been a way for you to find your own language, find your own unique qualities that help you feel fulfilled in a way, like you're living your true expression. You're living what you're here for. This is my translation of what you're saying.
And that's beautiful. I I feel that. And in addition to what you're saying and what you're offering with your words, I really began feeling more liberated, less, less restricted because of that layer of understanding. I experience less fear and less doubt about myself and the world that I'm actively and intentionally creating.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Today, we're going to chat about 3 different unfoldings you call quantum unfoldings. And I'm going to start by just saying what they are, or for right now, what they are considered. And then we'll just jump right into it and let people kind of go on an exploration with this. This is very going to be free form. It's very free form. We're just kind of in an exploratory journey. Does that sound good? So if
It's
I get it
actually,
right, yeah, if I get it right, the first unfolding is the feeling of, or the one um of the past, us seeing as our past. Is that the right term that you want to use for that?
the past in the sense of the way things have been done,
What
the
has happened?
what has happened, the ideologies, the practices, the systems, that were
Mhm.
created by our ancestors. They were guided to create these systems and these structures because that's what they wanted, that's what they needed, that's what they deserved, that's what they were creating, that's what served them in
Mhm.
that moment. And we inherit these things from those people, and we acclimated to those systems and those processes and those beliefs and those ideologies.
Mhm.
There are many of us who still benefit, still thrive, and still derive a great sense of stability, and it's part of their identity, of their expression in life, and it still
Mhm.
serves some people. And so that's what I'm talking about as the past, or the what wasness.
Yeah. What
What
wasness?
yes.
Perfect. So number one is the what wasness, and the next is the present, the now, the I am. Right? Is that a good
Yes,
statement?
the what the what isness that was a result of experiencing the what wasness. We're,
Mm-hmm.
we're entering that state where some of us are recognizing that, wow, these things, these ideas, these structures, and these systems, they began with a beautiful intention, and now they're just not quite benefiting. They're not quite so delightful. They're not so as useful. They're not fully serving a beneficial purpose to where we are now.
Perfect. I love that. So we have the what was, the what is, and I'm going to be bold and say the what will be, or a futuristic what is to come perspective. Is that a fair shake on the last one?
I honor your expression and your perspective, and that's
Uh,
absolutely okay. The what wants to be, the
mhm.
the evolution of the intentional.
Yes. A touch into the potentiality of what we're going, our investment in the
Yes,
future.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
perfect. So we have these three areas that we want to kind of explore today, and we'll just jump right in. Okay,
Okay.
perfect. We've opened and we've invited in those who are in support, and Chris has said his intention is to say your intention again.
My intention is to be in flow and in guidance by source.
Yes. It has been heard and accepted. All right. Beautiful. I love that we get to do this together. I honor this sacred work that we are doing together, and offer all that I am and will be always, for I'm dedicated to support and help open up the magic that is waiting to come through. Oh, all right, that's set. Chris, do you want to start out by, um, I'd love to just kind of hear it in the flow, just the basics of what you want to share with me, and how you want to start.
I felt the call to work with human design, gene keys. I've received questions from various people about astrology, tarot, I Ching, and human design, of course, and then now quantum human design. And they're all wonderful questions. We want to know what it is, where I fit in with all of that. How does that pertain to myself? What's the purpose of that? What's the difference between all of these things? What,
Yeah.
and I'm hearing kind of essentially as what is being offered by these various systems. And admittedly, I don't have significant experience with uh, tarot and I Ching and with astrology. I I resonate more with the quantum human design.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to me, it seems that these systems are able to offer some insights about self. And one thing that seems to be showing itself to me in this is different ways, or different perspectives of what's going on. The intention seems to be allowing a person to discover more about self, but the method being offered or the way they go about it, it seems to be a little bit different. When I look at the language and I
Mm-hmm.
I have this feeling of, well, what is the system wanting me to understand? How is the system wanting me to gain more self understanding? And this morning I woke up with an inspiration. It's a download I had received, and
Mm-hmm.
I saw this. Hmm, I'm looking for the words to describe it. It was it was life flowing in in a mm, in a certain pattern, a certain way of interacting with different aspects of itself. And the words
Mm-hmm.
that came to my mind, the ones that made more sense to me, it wanted to express itself as three quantum unfoldings of our physicality. And mm, what I saw was there's the life as we currently experience it. This brief little moment where we're interacting with life, and we have another aspect of what occurred prior to that moment, the what was aspect of life. And then that third component of the unfolding is from the information and the experience that we gain in the aspect of what was, we are intentionally experiencing and creating adventures for ourselves to better understand where we are. And then
Mm-hmm.
those components coalesce and want to become that they are the unfolding of what can be and what we feel called the divine intentionality.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just it looked like a very beautiful dance of those three components just um,
Yeah.
working together, flowing together, supporting each other, uh, propelling the expansion of one to the next, one to the next, and a continuation and expansion of life.
A continual round.
Yeah, a continuation.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. Um,
Thank you.
I'm well expressed. I'm listening to you deeply, and I'm also correlating it with what's come through me. And I'm seeing how the maps connect, how
Hmm.
they connect. seeing what is, if I can express to you something that's come through me.
Oh, please do.
And so it's an acronym called RICE. It's RICE, RICE. And it makes it easy to remember. Receptivity, interpretation, creation or creativity, and expression. And they're all, you can look at them as a sequence, but in reality, they also are a quantum field of qualities that are supporting each other at all times. And so you can look at it as a round, but in reality, they're always informing each other. These qualities are always informing each other. And because we're on the earth, we have a tendency in the duality to see it as a line. We have a tendency to do that. We try to say, oh, this makes this happen. The reality is it's all one thing being expressed at once. It's all, you say a TV. It's all a TV being expressed. It's all the experience of being young and nervous expressed. It's one thing being expressed and supported. And so feeling this round, it's a supportive round, but it's a flow of how energy can move and how it supports itself too. I guess you could say how it supports itself too. So I'm looking at it in a way of, you said life as we know it now, and this is set in a time. You're looking at it in a time frame, which is part of the linear experience, right? So time is now.
Yes.
Yeah. So now, and then what was, and then in the creative availability right here, we come forth and express it into the new creative of the new now, or the new what can be, I guess you could say. And I'm this is me because I'm such a I'm not a mechanic, and whatever, but I like to see the flow of how something works. And I'm looking at this. This is just me wanting to express this, is that what I've been told and shown is that our unique creative ability as humans, which is absolutely magical because we're in physical form and we have the ability to create new realities because we are in physical form, right? Is that in our creative, in the spark of us of creative choice and creative, the space, and we have to have space in order to have choice, right? In our creative space and choice, that we, in our focus and attention, what we focus and intend on, then informs the all that is of the new potentiality, which then can be manifest. Right?
Yes.
It is saying to the all that's potential, this is what the investment it is in. Now, because the investment is here, we're going to slide this into place and see, oh, this is now a part of your field of potentiality, right? It's sliding it in place, saying, oh, this is what their focus is on right now, right? And so it is a collaborative, co-creative experience always, but it's sliding into place. But what we see is this circle round, right? What we see in a linear fashion is a circle round, but we aren't, it's tricky to see the dance of the connection to the beyond this mortal whatever, which is really us too, but it's God form, right? And it coming into and recreating new manifestation. So I'm sorry, my brain just wanted to walk through that and see how it see how that might be interpreted in this form that you just spoke of. Does that make sense?
I'm
Like,
following along with you. There,
yeah.
I would like to add an additional
Mm-hmm.
component to this. And
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate that you are observing the various supportive fields
Mm-hmm.
from, from the essence of potentiality.
Mm-hmm.
Creation begins to take form from the layer of intentionality. That's
Mm-hmm.
where I have made the decision, and I am offering my attention and my awareness, my focus.
Yeah.
That's where that comes into coalesce with the components of what is being created.
Yeah.
The potentiality allows that to happen because within that essence, everything is possible simultaneously and uniquely and independently. But
Yeah.
intentionality is the field of influence where the decision comes into to play. It says,
That's
this
right.
is what I'm creating. This is what this person is creating right here, right now. Whatever the
Yeah.
now is, whatever it is that's being created.
I love that. I love the term that you said, field of influence. That's actually a term that my guides have recently said to me. That's brilliant. I'm sorry. I'm just giggling.
It is.
Um, because that field of influence is where what we draw from in our interpretation, quote unquote, right?
Mhm. Yes.
We draw from that field in our interpretation, and it all feeds each other. We draw from that field in um our receptivity, what we're receptive to, right?
Yes.
It all feeds itself.
We we choose to honor each aspect, each expression of ourself, the usness,
Mm-hmm.
the unique expression of us. We honor that freedom of choice. We honor that freedom of independence and offer the space. And with our, so we allow ourselves to make decisions, and based on the decisions and our focus and our understandings and our perspectives, we then move towards that field of influence called intentionality. And that's where multiple unique aspects of ourself can really intensify that field of influence. And I call it field of influence because there's nothing about control there. In order to reach
Yeah.
this field of influence, it's honoring choice, decision, independence, the divine will. Each being, each aspect of ourself is honoring and supporting. So
Mm.
control has nothing to do with it by the time it reaches that influence field.
That's interesting that you see it in that way, because for me, as I see it, as I I always had a sense that we're always in a field of influence, but it depends on what level of consciousness really that field of influence is in order for us to actually feel and to know ourselves in our own divine ability to actually have pure choice. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So, so we may have a field of influence that keeps us thinking in a slave mentality, but in that field of influence, we aren't going to feel ourselves as one who has pure choice and can really make a choice on solid ground. It's a reactionary choice because it believes in that reality. It's working from that field of influence, right?
It was a decision to enter that condition.
That's
And
right.
that's why it feels like there's a lot of control, there's a lack or even a lack of control. And
Right.
it's divinely created that way. It must be that way. And
Yes.
and whoever is experiencing that uh, is choosing into that, whether they are conscious or aware of it or they aren't. The decision was made, and that's where they are. That is the reality that they chose to create.
The reality they chose to invest in, even if they didn't know they were choosing to invest in it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So if we go back to what you have outlined as life as we know it, what was, and then this divine intentionality and continual around. Do you want to go ahead and walk me through the steps of what each experience is and what occurs in those? Does that make sense?
That's a beautiful question. I'll do my best to mm, offer what I'm seeing, experiencing.
Okay.
We collectively are creating experiences, and from these experiences, we are expanding. We are limitless. We are expansive by nature of who we are. And in this cycle of continuation, uh, each unique expression of us is making decisions, making choices, and creating uh, different versions of reality from which we can gain knowledge and gain wisdom. It's essentially a mechanism by which we are fine tuning and making adjustments and discovering what is pleasant, what is wholesome, what is meaningful, what is just what is. It's about what is. Because we are limitless and expansive, we have this profound curiosity we want to
Mhm.
experience. So, what is, what is? And in each one of these what I'm calling the quantum unfoldings of life or the expressions of life, I'm noticing that there are ways of expressing through language, different wording and different energies of the words that we use within each one of those unfoldings. And for instance, in the what was, now just for a little bit of clarity, each one of these unfoldings is currently um, alive. Mm, Alive in the sense of physicality. The how okay for instance, humans, we we have this little structure that we call generations, the baby boomers, Gen X, and so on. And we're offering as a global community different observations about each one of these generations. So, in a certain sense, these quantum unfoldings are similar ish to a generation. And the
Mhm.
language that willing participants engage and use is unique. We can, if we have, if we choose to pause and just really feel and experience the language being used, we're able to identify
Mhm.
which unfolding this person is expressing from. Um, so these tools that we receive that offer us insight into self. I'm noticing in that language that some people are using this term called New Earth.
Mm.
That's the unfolding in which uh, we're allowing experience and knowledge and wisdom to coalesce and offer the intentions and the desires that we fine tune and tweak into creating the nextness.
Hmm. I have a question with that. So would you
Yes.
consider the term the new earth in this language as a sign of a particular field of influence? So we're building the field of influence. Is that what you're communicating to me?
It feels like the answer to your question is yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Many people are noticing that energetically and physically and emotionally, we humans are experiencing collectively a lot of new things, a lot of newness. And in that newness, some of the structures and the systems we're noticing no longer benefit like they used to, no longer provide the support that we truly deserve and that we truly want. And some of those structures and those beliefs and those systems are beginning to be modified, replaced, or just disappear altogether. They no
Yeah.
longer serve. People are, we are at an end with those. They served and they're complete. And so, from those observations, each each aspect of quantum unfolding is offering that communication that you mentioned, where all of those supportive layers of influence are communicating to offer focus to the what's next.
Mhm.
So some people are divinely called. It's their purpose to really get in there and experience all of the aspects of what was and communicate that information to people who are experiencing the what is, and,
Mm.
and offering that fine tuning. Hey, this program. Okay, so I was born, and Social Security was a really popular thing to talk about. Oh, Social Security, blah blah blah. Okay, well, so we have people who are really, really in there experiencing that, and they're offering perspectives of, oh, hey, it works wonderful this way and not so wonderful that way, and let's make some adjustments. and and then the people who are in the what is, they're receiving that information, and certain aspects of it are being adjusted, and then what's coming up next, people in that area are saying, okay, that Social Security thing, let's revisit what the original intention was, because a lot of things that existed when the Social Security was first created don't exist anymore. Or
Yeah.
we have different needs, we have different wants, we have different focus, we have different intentions. So let's take all of that into consideration, and we're going to create something new, something different.
Yeah. I'm I'm feeling so many different layers kind of coming together as you speak about this. I, I'm seeing I'm seeing this play out as a timeline in essence, meaning this being socially how we connect from the different generations that are alive now, because we're all in one world together, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
this is a bridge of connection for the generations that are now, and we can honor what was, we can honor the now, we honor the future and what we're walking toward. But also, I feel like I see it in the typography of people too. Different types are more, they're more focused on history, on memory, on the past. Different temperament types are. Different temperament types are very much able to be in the now. They're very now driven. They're very much present in the body. They're very much honoring the experience and the sensory of what is now. And then there are other types who are very future driven, who are very how can I say it? Some people call them leaders of the future, other people call them whatever, but they're like, they're way showers, to what is to come. They're saying, look what we can be, look how we can change to even better. Look what the possibilities are, right? And there are different people who do that. So I see that in those two kinds of layers, which are interesting to place on top of each other, right? And
Yes.
then seeing it simply too as perhaps an internal cycle, which you expressed, an internal cycle of our being and how we process and step into the new, right? We acknowledge the past or the history of how we have interpreted things. We also must be in the now, right? And opening for the now to be open, you have to, what was and the future have to be on the outside of you. They have to be something that you look this way and then you can look this way with, like, to be in the now. And then you, how can I say, and the now and the future then becomes the now, just simply out of the process of the natural movement, if that makes any sense. The future becomes the now. What was considered the now is now the past. It's just simply a part of the movement of walking on a timeline, if that makes any sense. A
From,
timeline frame.
from the aspect of a timeline, I'm
Mhm.
seeing all of these quantum unfoldings is existing together and simultaneously, and they are flowing at the same time, and they are influencing each other.
Mhm.
And I'm noticing that age doesn't even play a part of this.
Yeah.
I'm interacting with people of hmm, all of the ages, the full human age range,
Yeah.
that are showing up in each one of these quantum unfoldings. And for me, I'm seeing it as an opportunity for myself of saying, hey, am I willing and able to honor each being, each person, what they're doing, the part that they're playing, the magnificence that they bring to my experience of this physical life.
Mm.
It's not my job in this physical form to manage or control or uh, dictate what another person is intended or should be. See, I love that word. It sounds a lot like shit. Should be. Not my place. But I can be in the now and I can honor and celebrate what that person is doing. Because regardless of their divine purpose,
Mhm.
offering that experience to the best of their beingness,
Mhm.
and that influences each one of the quantum unfoldings.
Mhm. They all are informing and as support.
They're there enhancing it, that
Yeah.
entire expression to the best of their being, and I simply choose to step back and breathe and perceive. the best of my ability to seek understanding and witness the magnificence of their participation. What is the experiment they're doing? What is the knowledge that they're testing? And what is the wisdom that they are gaining from that?
Okay, so this is where I want to jump in and say, well, let's go down that. Let's go down that rabbit hole. Walk
Okay.
me through what that language is with each one of these, walking through an experience, whether it's 3 different people, whether it's one person. Like, I would love to hear the language and you describing the process that's occurring. I mean, can you step into literally an experience and you're describing it through, and you going through each quantum language? Does that make sense? Experience the language.
I would like to adjust your request a little bit by
Yeah.
inviting you to offer me a phrase that you hear frequently, something that's piqued your interest or
Okay.
really come to your attention. What is a common phrase?
A phrase that has piqued my interest lately. It is what it is.
That's beautiful. Thank you for that.
Okay.
Okay. I'd like to invite you to receive that into your heart space and taste those words. Yes, I said taste.
Yeah.
I'm inviting you to bring all of your senses into focus on that phrase. It is what it is.
And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tap my chest and my heart area to help that open. It is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. Ha! I feel like I just felt all 3 of those different things, all those 3 different levels as I tapped. But I want you to go through this process.
Okay, excellent.
Okay.
So it is what it is. That phrase to me is offering energies of futility,
Yeah.
avoidance, deflection, a bit of flippancy.
Yeah.
I'm resigned to impotence.
Yes.
I want to appear enlightened.
Yeah.
So another way to express is I recognize that I am responsible for the way I interact with life, other people, other animals, plants, all life. I am responsible for the way I present myself. I'm responsible for my words and my actions. And I recognize that there are certain things that I no longer control, that are out of my control. They are outside of me. They aren't me. And therefore, it's not my responsibility to do or guide, control, manage. So that's the language and the approach of the what isness. I now recognize that I am part of life, but I'm not out there controlling it. And then the what's next, more of the language of honoring, the language of expansion, inspiration, and increase is more along the lines of what a delightful way to experience this life. And I get to experience different aspects and features and discover more about each expression of life. And I am able to practice curiosity and gain understanding. And with that understanding, I increase my own, I increase trust, I increase my capacity to experience joy and happiness and celebrate where, what, and how, and when, and why this life is unfolding. I don't feel compelled to change anything. There's no need to change because I am at peace with where, what, why, and how it is.
Beautiful. So this is the walk through the different ways that can be experienced. I love that. I'm just going to take a breath here because it's like I'm retranslating. I'm being with this. There's something that this reminds me in a way, a part of almost like a ladder of maturation and consciousness in a way, but three different fields in a way. So this is something that I'm feeling when in the past, when I first said that it is what it is, I felt the same things, the futility, the avoidance, the deflation, the deflection, all of that. And for me, what comes along with it is past experiences. That's because it's tied to emotional definitions and experience that I've had. So it's all tied there. It's, and it's like as I tap and I naturally tap and it goes through the process of shifting. My experience is I hope you don't mind I'm sharing this.
That's
That's
perfect.
okay. When I hit to what I consider the now or the I amness, to me, there stops being a feeling like I need to control it in any way, shape, or form.
I agree. I experienced that.
There's there's no there's no thing in me saying, well, now it has to change to this. Now it has to be this. Now I have to see it in this way. It just simply is, which is ironic and which is fun because the statement itself is, it is what it is. It's just, it's open and whatever it feels like, whatever comes up, it's simply it's detached from an emotional thing of like, oh, that is how it should be, or that isn't how it should be. It's free from that push or pull, right? There's none of that, that's gone, that polarity for me in the middle, right? Because in the center, it's just like there's just presence in a way for me. Does that make sense? That's how
I
I'm
understand.
experiencing it. But this is going to probably be different for everyone, depending upon what's available to them and their level of where they're at. And then for me, when I hit into the last one, which is, I'm trying to see what you termed is the future, right? This future is just thing. To me, it doesn't have to do with necessarily time. It has to do with, I literally felt presence, it was as if a new light suddenly started emanating, right? It was
Mhm.
a new birth. It was actually a new birth of a new energy. And it's like, it is what it is. Oh, it is what it is. Something beautiful is happening. Something beautiful is emerging. It is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. Like it, um, almost seeing it in an essence of its pure, creative potentiality and energy of being allowing it to unfold. Like it's gonna open,
Hmm.
which is really cool. Um, like and exactly what you said, because in that it's in a field that's naturally supported. The idea of support is funny because there's no even idea of support because it's all that is, right? There's no need to talk about am I supported or not supported because it is all there, right?
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So the curiosity, so because there's space and curiosity ignited, right? Then that movement, the creative potential is naturally like flowing. It's naturally moving forward. It's naturally opening up, which I think is so amazing because naturally, of course, trust is going to be there because there's no not trust. Like that it's all one, right? There's nothing that I need to worry about in that dichotomy and that polarity, right? So
It's an
it's literally
adjustment of
unfolding.
perspective.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
more the more I fully see, the less fear of the unknown I experience. And the more
yeah,
fully I see, all of these other structures
yeah,
dissipate. They're not what I presume them to be.
yeah. And
Or
it depends on what you're being with, I guess you could say, right?
yes, because they're
Yeah,
there, not there. Everything
yeah.
serves a purpose. It's really a matter of my perspective. From from which angle am I choosing to gain understanding?
This is really beautiful because I think when I first hear it, I can look at it from the sense of being in a 3D realm and it being about time, right? And a time matrix.
Hmm.
But
Yes,
then, but then really the reality is that I feel like if you're in a space enough where you're exploring this, the first rung of the past is actually the 3D, right? And the middle of the I am is the releasing into um, owning true space of creative potential. And then the last one, the future, is opening in curiosity in what the natural investment is and allowing it to bloom. Does that make sense? And I don't know, I could maybe change that a little bit, but that's what it's feeling like to me now, if that makes any sense.
those are different, definitely different perspectives.
Yeah,
And there are many other perspectives in there as
yeah,
well for us to experience.
yeah.
It
I'm
really,
excited. I would love to hear maybe another example and for you to kind of walk through it in the different phases again. So, because I know everyone's going to see it and they're going to have a different experience, but I'd like to key in more to your experience and how it opens for you, if that makes sense, and the language of that.
hmm.
I just want to hear more. That makes,
Okay.
yeah,
Um, offer me another common phrase.
another common phrase. Okay. I'm gonna go. I hate you. This is
Oh, that's beautiful. That's perfect. That's
okay.
it's marvelous. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's okay. I invite you to bring that phrase present and offer it
I
all of
hate
your
you.
senses.
I Boy, this is interesting. Okay.
So immediately there's a very palpable separation.
Yeah.
Me, you,
Mm-hmm.
mm, uh, with this hate thingy, I am invoking the maximum amount of distance possible. I demand it, I expect it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The only layer of separation that I have not yet invoked is this thing that we perceive as physical death.
Yeah.
Mhm. So
Yeah.
something about our collective usness, that we are one. I am I am very much out of out of alignment with usness. There is something that I'm experiencing substantial amounts of discomfort, dis-ease. I'm not at ease, therefore it's a dis-ease, or disease is another way to pronounce that.
Mm-hmm.
What is going on? I am in this moment not able to or not willing to really look. And curiosity is very much far away. That isn't even in my realm of awareness. I don't even know that curiosity exists. I, in this space of I hate you, my options of possibilities, of vision, of perspective is so incredibly narrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In
Uh,
the dark.
well, lack of vision. Yeah, in
Yeah.
the it is one way of expressing of that. There's definitely a
Yeah.
profound unknowing,
Mm-hmm.
unawareness, unwillingness to see, perhaps even inability to see. Again, it's about perspective.
Yeah.
In each moment, I do my best from my current understanding and my current abilities. I'm offering my best, and right now in this moment, my best looks like it's very much close to the spectrum of being physically not here in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Another, so being able to have a different perspective on that from the what isness
Yes.
would kind of
Jumping
look
to what is.
what looks like in this moment. I'm aware that I'm feeling frustrated. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
wait, no, actually, we would say I'm mad, I'm frustrated. See, I'm now
Mm-hmm.
identifying myself with those attributes. I'm declaring me, the being, I am
Mm-hmm.
an emotion. So
Yeah.
I'm angry, I'm frustrated, I'm disappointed, all of those things. And we've now moved to different vibrations, different energy signatures.
Yeah.
They're not quite as deleterious, not quite as uh, self-destructive.
Yeah. There is an identification that's being allowed now of
Yes,
the experience.
yes. I'm not so much stuck on, well, I still am stuck on individuality.
Yeah.
I'm still not seeing myself. I'm still not taking responsibility for myself. but we have more opportunities to move more into, okay, in this moment, see, now I've separated the time. In this moment, I feel angry.
Yes.
You're not my favorite person right now, which is much different. You're not my favorite person. And in the what's nextness is I'm acknowledging that in this moment, I am experiencing some discomfort. I am receiving an opportunity to practice curiosity and ask myself why I feel this way this, about these conditions. I'm acknowledging conditionality, and I'm allowing and embracing, I'm recognizing I love people, but people are not behaviors, people are not ideas, people are not beliefs, people are not
Mm-hmm.
all of these other things. People are people. I'm a people, you're a people, but collectively we are the people. And so in this moment, it's about me and what I'm experiencing. I love people, and right now I'm being gifted an opportunity to really discover something new about myself. What is going on with my internally, not externally, internally?
Mm-hmm.
Why am I experiencing this? What is it that I'm experiencing? And receiving the feelings, embracing them, welcoming them, encouraging them to fully express, open the doors wide for full expression, whatever it is. I'm not in charge of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to manipulate it. I don't want to control it. I want it to flow the way it wants to flow. And as it flows and as it's unfolding for me, I'm practicing curiosity. Oh, okay. What is
Mm-hmm.
this telling me? What is this showing me? What information is this bringing to me?
Yeah.
And at the conclusion of this beautiful orchestra that just played for me, this beautiful symphony, this beautiful opera, whatever it is that just unfolded for me, now what do I want to do with it?
Mm-hmm.
Celebrate that I chose to make time for myself, to discover something new, to allow the space of the unfolding, to not manipulate it, to not change it, to not transform it or transcend it, to not do anything with it except honor it, receive it, and honor it.
Mm. There's what's coming to mind right now is an interesting thing that I've been seeing in this idea of manifestation in our world. It's been a huge subject for the last little while for people. How do I manifest? How do I, this kind of thing. And it seems to me that there are kind of more masculine versions of it and there are kind of more feminine versions of it. And this, when you talk about being informed and informing and receiving an honor rather than kind of more an aggressive, now I have to create something. It's kind of I'm seeing the masculine and the feminine play out more in each of those, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
I feel like I see like the masculine being one more of what am I going to create? There's more of a physical, like what are the banks, here, where am I doing? And I think a more feminine flow is more of, oh, at least for me, I feel much more comfortable in this the sensation of being in revelation, being in informing and informed, receiving, honoring. Those are the kinds of words in I feel more feminine or that are a little more feminine in aspect to me. At least that's the way I experience them. I
Hmm.
feel more comfortable with revelation rather than um like what am I manifesting? Is what is revelation opening to me and informing me about right now and the potential that is right here. Like, and asking the question, like, what is ready to bloom right now? It honors that, oh, I've actually invested a whole slew in something. And maybe the timing just suddenly, right now is the timing for this to bloom, right? And now it's ready. And all I got to do is blow a little on it here and out it blooms. Now it's ready to manifest. Now the timing and everything is coming into fruition. The season is right. And now it's time, right? And so to me, that feels more of a feminine uh, way of walking in that. I don't know. I'd love to hear. I know this is a little bit of a departure, but I'd love to hear your view on that. That.
I really appreciate that observation. Thank you for sharing that with me.
Yeah.
That's very delightful to hear that and share that experience with you. That what it feels like energetically, masculine pieces and feminine pieces, and how they flow together and build on each other. And I
Yeah.
really thank you. There are two words
Okay.
that I invite you to fully experience.
All right.
Let's begin with the word control.
Okay. Uh-huh.
What are you experiencing with that word?
I'm just gonna tap and allow that in. Control, 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 control. I feel very forward driven. It feels like I'm in a car or a motorcycle, and I'm like, this is the road. This is how I'm going to. It's like travel down that road, right? Boom. And it's like I have this motorcycle. The tank is full. The oil, I made sure the oil was whatever. I bought it and to have everything perfect. So I know I'm going to land at my destination in the perfect way. I hired all the right people to make that motorcycle. I got my favorite color. I am, you know, it's lilac scented, whatever I want. And that's going to make it it's like I want to be assured that I'm going to get to a specific destination. That's the feeling that I have in control. And it's like I'm going to look at all the elements and say, in trying to be powerful, saying, I claim you to get me to that spot. You all must work with me. Even the road and the pavement that my tires stand on, you must cooperate in order for me to get to the end mark. That's what my experience when I am with the word control. Control.
That's beautiful.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Are you experiencing that as a masculine type experience?
It isn't necessarily masculine. It just simply is. But of course, I laugh and play with the idea of masculine, feminine a lot. And in some ways, I don't. Okay, it's all a play to me. It's all a play to me. It's masks. It doesn't make sense because in one situation that may feel masculine, in another it may feel absolutely feminine. When you switch levels and where you're viewing things from, it switches entirely. So it doesn't make sense to me to say, is that masculine? But if
Okay.
I had to label it, if someone said you have to choose whether it's masculine or feminine, okay, it's masculine. Sure. I don't.
Felt inspired to ask that question, and I really appreciate your perspective and your answer. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think that was funny because I think a part of me gets frustrated with the stance of people trying to say, no, that's masculine, that's feminine, even though I just spoke to you about feeling more feminine. Because a part of us wants to define things. We want to define and we
Mm,
want to say, oh, to identify, say, oh, this is what that feels like, right? But a part of it too becomes caging when we
right.
get too stuck on that definition. And I get frustrated in the the box itself, the framing itself. And even though having some of that framing is helpful, I get frustrated with it because I don't think it does the reality justice. Like
Oh,
when masculine is the present, there's always feminine. That one is never without the other.
huh.
Even in that expression of the motorcycle, okay, I can sit there with it and I say, me pointing my way down to the end, that feels masculine. Yet, me honoring that there's something other in support of it feels feminine, right? And so it's never one without the other, if that makes any sense.
But we choose to do that to ourselves collectively uh,
Yes.
as species. We do this to
Yeah.
ourselves. We have
Yeah.
co-created this drive to place this limitation. I like that word. We place this
Yeah.
limitation upon ourselves.
Yeah.
Control, and I love how we're diving into this a bit more, but
Yeah.
I also perceive this description that you've offered of control, this
Mhm.
perspective, this experience, how you're experiencing this control. It has
Mhm.
nothing to do with a gender or a style of human body. It's nothing to do
Yeah.
with that.
Mhm.
And so I just want to recognize that women, people with the um, woman experience in this world have power. It,
Yeah.
it's not just because parts of what you describing power to be uh, have a masculine feel doesn't mean that it's male only power.
Yeah.
Female also have power. Female and male are equal. There's not one has power, one doesn't have power.
Yeah.
Power is such an interesting thing that we have created for ourselves. Being able to recognize that we all have power
Yeah.
um, at one level or another. That's the magical, the wonderful adventure of another way to see power is the root chakra. The
Mhm.
That's where power begins. The I I see root chakra as I am. That's an expression of power. I choose
Mhm.
to be here. I am here. This is I co-create this physical existence. I am. That's
Mhm.
power. That but in the other piece that I wanted to bring awareness to is power is perceived external of self. When I begin speaking of anything or anyone at an external level, I'm now talking about control. Control is me
Yeah.
perceiving anything or anyone outside of the collective usness.
Yes. Yes. I appreciate you saying that because I felt that too extremely. The sound of the word control, the word itself is an on it what it acknowledges within the definition of itself is me and a you, a separateness of a me and a other. And so even if I mean you can change words and definitions of words and what they are, and you can come it's let's see, It's enough separateness that feeling completely in the oneness is it's not accessible, I would say, right?
I agree.
Yeah. And
It's
so,
not a oneness
yeah,
perspective
there's a
we're
risk.
experiencing.
There's always a risk in it because it's like maybe I can't reach my goal. Maybe I won't. Oh no, what would happen then, right? There's this separation that's always there that doesn't acknowledge true oneness, the whole, all of us as one. And so that's what control is. It's like, I will direct in order to get my way to experience what I think is the most important thing for me to experience, right? Whatever that may be, whatever that goal may be, even if that goal is experiencing oneness, right?
Hmm.
Like, even if the goal is experiencing oneness, I am using whatever powers at hand that I feel I can influence and direct. And the more I feel like I can influence and direct, the more I'm going to try and do so in order for me to reach my goal, whatever it is. Yeah. So,
Mhm. I'm asserting my individuality
yeah.
with regardless to everyone and everything else. I'm asserting a position, I'm asserting a desire, I'm asserting an action, I'm asserting
Mm-hmm.
my individuality.
Mm-hmm.
So the other word I would invite you to bring fully into all of your senses is
Mm-hmm.
influence.
Okay. I'm going to be the influence, 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 influence. Ah, okay. Lovely. Okay.
What are you experiencing?
Ha. I'm in the middle of the garden and it's blooming. And my influence is I lift my hand and whatever I see, it's blooming. My feet, the earth, everything that I bring my presence to includes me as awareness. All of it is influence. It doesn't feel like anything has to be done, though, here in this space. This is just how me as Gwen, I'm experiencing it. Because the whole world I feel is literally me. I feel this is all me. And I am just simply in a play of deciding what I get to bring presence and action and movement to. That's the way it feels to me. It
Hmm.
feels, my heart feels open. My heart feels presence. And I know someone else will feel something totally different from this when they experience this word.
Hmm.
Influence to me, it's like the whisper of the sun, right? And it's like whatever whatever receives, quote unquote, which is a funny thought. It's really receiving the intelligence of itself. Like it's just it's being informed. So influence to me uh, is an informing. That's what it is to me.
That's a wonderful way to express that. Thank you. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I think that's fun because a part of me is saying someone else, this is going to be a completely different experience for them to be with that word. Like that's what it's saying. Yeah.
The word influence, the energy of influence
Hmm.
begins its expression with the first two letters inside, in.
Mm. And
I perceive
nice.
everyone and everything as being within.
Mm.
We are all one. I am. We are. However you want to express that. And instead of the control, I'm in allowance. I'm in honoring. I'm in
Mhm.
observance. I'm in understanding. I'm understanding the way I want to express over here, over here, over here, to the point where I am an aware, informed, um, intentional creator.
Mhm.
If what I desire is a certain outcome, I have enough understanding of which adjustments I get to make within to influence, excuse me, to influence that outcome.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
am at harmony, at synergy, in flow with all.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love that word harmony because it is one song.
Mhm,
And when you acknowledge it's one song, it's a whole different experience.
mhm.
Yeah, that's cool.
When I go to when I attend an orchestra,
Mhm.
some of those instruments I don't know the names to. They all make a unique noise, and
Mhm.
it's absolutely fascinating. It's marvelous that all of those bizarre shaped instruments making all of their unique noises come together, and it produces this beautiful, magnificent unfolding of noises.
Yeah, it's an amazing experience to do that. I'm taking a little breath and I feel like I want to go back and visit some of what you just covered around these three different quantum, do you call them spheres or what are we
I
calling
call
these?
them unfoldings. The
Quantum
sphere,
unfoldings.
I can certainly understand the draw of using the word sphere.
Unfoldings.
When the offering of the word sphere, to me, I perceive that more as an area of influence instead of a
Yeah.
shape.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who's taken a couple of marbles and wanted to bring them together will quickly observe that there's quite a bit of space in between each marble, even though little tiny pieces of their edges are coming together, there's still a lot of openness. Where in a Venn chart, we have these areas where there's a coalescing and there's an overlap and there's a beautiful harmony of
Mm-hmm.
possibility and potentiality.
Yeah. I am feeling that these overlays, which are really beautiful, and I'm just having a lot of curiosity as to kind of feeling these specific spheres or unfoldings, as you say, and feeling how everything, supports and connects each other. And I'm I'm feeling within these three different areas. How would I describe it? I'm a part of me sees these if I connect it to levels of consciousness. Part of me is seeing the intricacy and the overlayment of, are you familiar with David R. Hawkins and
Yes,
transcending levels of consciousness of
conscious calibrations. Yes.
yeah, yeah. He was one of the first when I had my kind of first opening he was one of the main people that I read and I studied for a very long time. Just my favorite. I'm like, thank you, God, for that introduction into, like true awareness and spirituality. And I'm seeing this too as, even though it isn't a direct, it's not the same map, but I see how they interlay, how this interlays with it. Part of being human is that, like, we try to create definitions, we try to figure out things, we tend to try to create meaning and those kinds of things. And then in the center, if I'm with this, and there's a maturation in that process that can develop and happen. Like in these three things, there's always going to be a maturation that happens. It's not like you sit with that level and you say, I'm done. It's always there, right? It's always present. Does
What
that
I
make sense?
what I hear and what I'm perceiving is that because just because I choose to experience this physical existence in one of those areas,
Mm-hmm.
not permanently locked into or restricted to or limited to one area
Mm-hmm.
because of the nature of the overlays and how everything is connected. And because I intentionally create limitlessness,
Mm-hmm.
the ability to gain a different perspective, gain a different choice, and experience from anywhere I want to.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
have that freedom.
You do. That's what I'm all about. But yeah, I think one
It's,
thing that I wanted to say was like, I mean, I see it when you talk about even the I am place, right? Like there's a maturation in that because you start with an I am that really is you're honoring, you're saying, I am a person, I am an individual, I am this, that. But as you go through and you transcend the levels of consciousness,
mm,
right? That transforms and matures into a whole different experience, right? So
yes,
that's
indeed.
how I can plug in the levels of consciousness is I can plug it into these different areas. And from the past, I can do the same thing. I can plug in the levels of consciousness and you walking up the steps or opening wider into the oneness, right?
Mhm.
In each of these three areas, right?
Absolutely.
And and so you're going to experience them differently. Everyone's going to experience them differently depending on the levels, the kinks that get to be opened, the levels of maturation that get to be opened, and the steps that they're taking. So that's interesting to me.
Because of our true nature, we have limitless possibilities. We are limitless.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Mm-hmm.
and with that consciousness calibration, the limitless applies there as well. As in this human experience, there are many, many aspects, many facets to this existence, many
Mm-hmm.
opportunities, many decisions, many choices, trillions and trillions of them. And each
Mm-hmm.
one of those has its own consciousness calibration. And that's how we receive our consciousness, our average consciousness calibration. It's that mathematic equation of sum that gives us that trillions and trillions and trillions of little aspects,
Mm.
features.
Yeah.
I'm not required to adjust my calibration on any of them. It's
Yeah.
freedom of choice. It's freedom of will.
Mm-hmm.
It's freedom of expression. My divine intention for being here right now in this physical experience is unique to anyone else. I am not obligated. I'm not required in any way to do or be anything.
Mm-hmm.
But the limitlessness is there.
Mm-hmm. It is. I'm just being with this and I'm feeling out this way of a kind of a new, it's like offering a new map of to be able to play in, right?
Yes.
That's the way I see it is, okay, this is a new map. And it's just me kind of coming up the space of, okay, well, how does this map and, connect with that map? How does this map, how is it supported by that map? How is it to create a fuller picture? Like, because you enter the map and you see it flat. Well, what is it when we open it like this? What does that look like in the constellations, right?
Yes.
How does that play out? I think that's so cool. I'm kind of bouncing around a little bit
Being
in the
able to
map.
see that it's a map instead of a
Yeah.
definition or a limitation. Here,
Yeah.
it's a guide with descriptions of possibilities. And then to be able to receive a map that talks to me specifically as to why I chose to be here in this physical experience. This map that says, okay, Chris chose to uh, do certain things and Chris is divinely intended to receive a spoon in this life. Okay, well, what is a spoon? I get to discover what is a spoon. Hmm? When I was born, I didn't know what a spoon was, did I? I didn't. But I intended to enter this physical experience and receive a spoon. So eventually I discover what a spoon is. Oh, exciting. I feel that thrill of, oh my goodness, wow, fascinating, a spoon. And then I began looking around, exploring. Hmm, that spoon was really cool, but I feel called to find a different spoon. For some reason, I feel this call. I'm being drawn to discover more spoons. And now I'm opening up opportunities to explore and discover more about what a spoon is, what a spoon offers. What's the purpose of spoon? Why spoon? Why not spoon? What is spoon? Why is spoon? How is?
Mhm.
And I eventually, in my adventures of exploration, I could end up in a dumpster seeking a spoon. I might find a spoon in a dumpster. I don't know. I don't know. I could go into the bathroom and look for a spoon. It's an option to enter a
Mhm.
bathroom and look for a spoon,
Mhm.
but bringing in the quantum human design and the gene keys, uh, offering new languages that are more defined guides towards the what is intended and what we want to create, the nextness.
Hmm.
Now able to connect more profoundly, a more profound understanding of what is spoon, why is spoon. And learn how to navigate the exploration. Okay, I feel drawn to receive a spoon. And 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 for me to navigate my explorations, I'll probably experience more delight and more benefit when I am searching for a spoon in this way. My personality, my the way I express in this physical existence
Mhm.
lead towards a more pleasant experience in the exploration by doing this way. And then
Mhm.
this guide also offers information of, hey, I'm Chris is probably going to feel the most delight in life and received the most thrill in life showing up as a chef, having opening up all of the possible experiences as a chef, from nurturer to discovering new markets for produce, all of the wonderful delights of experiencing life as a chef. And part of that is the spoon. Okay, so now that kind of narrows the scope on the map of where I'm most likely to find the spoon I'm intended to receive. Now I'm going to
Okay.
look in kitchens instead of bathrooms. I'm going to look in kitchens instead of warehouses and dumpsters and barrels.
Experience. Yeah. I love what you're saying because it's, and this may be a part of my design, that I I love the expansive. Oh my gosh, seeing the so many possibilities is intensely amazing for me. But being able to implement them all is another thing. That's the frustration in my design. Um, and a part of me has come to a realization that the possibilities that flow through me are so immense. I'm not meant to manifest them all. In fact, I probably have in a billion trillion lives. It doesn't, but this one gets to hone in on certain specific manifestations, right? And this is where the assistance of other design types are very helpful for me, because some other types, they do not have the vision of what the possibilities are, right? Some types don't have that specific, I call it a gift, I call it whatever. I choose to claim it as a gift, right? I
Yes.
choose to claim it as a gift. And some of them have other talents. Some of them have other skills that combine, when we combine together. I love how you talk about the synergy, because that synergy creates a new whole that gets to be in its own process of creative management, creative manifestation, creative experience, if that makes any sense.
Creative experience
Yeah.
with the greatest amount of ease and grace
Yes.
possible. Because
I love that.
experiencing through the lens of frustration and disappointment is always an option.
It is. Yes.
So working with the quantum human design and the gene keys with this system that my partner Misty and I uh, envision and are receiving inspirations about, it it's called ourhumansynergy.com, and we are offering these perspectives, allowing showing people these other perspectives, allowing them to receive customized understandings of self.
Mm-hmm.
And from this foundation, this firm foundation of understanding self, I now have the confidence to go explore. Intentional exploration, guided exploration, less frustration, less doubt, less uncertainty, less fear, more trust, more understanding, more courage, because I have a foundation of self. It's me. I am now speaking to myself. I am now understanding myself from a new perspective. I can always return to this foundation and continue building, exploring, expanding in this solid space that resonates deep from within. This is me. This speaks to me. And I have this unique understanding of me. This isn't someone else. This is me. And this is how I move through experiences with the most grace and ease.
I love that phrase. And you know why? My twin sister is Grace, and a nickname I shouldn't say nickname, a conscious name that I have been gifted is Ease, the name of Ease. So that's a beautiful way of doing it. I'm curious as to if there's specific, I know you offer information, which is very important. And the human design, the information can become very detailed, or it provides a really beautiful detailed map that is very deep. But providing that information besides that, like you talk about this foundation and this place where you're grounded. And what comes to mind is, of course, there are experiences or journeys or meditations that have come into and through me that when I use them are very helpful. They assist me in that grounding, but is there something specific to you that you use in helping or assisting people in that grounding? People like me who can travel across universes and it's just jolly fun. But being on this earth and that foundation showing up in like real life, like how that can be supported.
Absolutely. First and foremost, it's guided. It's all guided. It's all intuition and inspiration. Therefore, it's expansive. It's limitless. It's not fixed or limited in time and space. And it speaks to each individual. It's intended to be individual, experienced individually. And there are offerings, yes. And a lot of people use the term a worksheet. And I love how you and your sister offer something called soul play, where you are encouraging the delightfulness of experiencing. And what I'm offering is an adventure guide that speaks your language to you, from you, about you, for you. An adventure guide. Phrases that inspire you to greater depths of personal understanding, self-understanding, connecting more with that foundation of self. And because it is you and not someone else, it's not a all-encompassing or a one-size-fits-all. It's you specific. That's what my partner Misty and I are offering.
Yeah.
And we receive these inspirations and these downloads, and we feel ourselves being called in many different places around the world, and we're constantly being offered new insights into what this is, this new earth language, this new earth guidance.
Mm-hmm.
Human design world, both Misty and I are projectors, and we are unique types of projectors. And we noticed right away when we came together that our designs are in such a way that the synergy, the energy of synergy between us is immensely palpable. We just naturally synergize in many ways, where she is the embodiment of one specific aspect of life, and I am the vessel for inspiration and capacity and potential for that exact same aspect of life.
Mm-hmm.
So she's the role model for it, where I am holding the container and the energy and the vision of the possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I'm the physical embodiment of it, and she's the vessel of the inspiration. And we feel called to be that example. I am the change I want to experience in this world.
Yeah.
And when we sit down and we're intentional about looking at our charts and identifying those ways in which we just so naturally synergize, and we make little adjustments, we notice specific things about self and other, about each other, that and we just amplify that energy of synergy. And that's how we were guided to the name Our Human Synergy. In the New Earth expression, the projector is an orchestrator. Misty and I, we very much, the universe is telling both of us very much that we are more of human beings and not so much as human doings,
Mm-hmm.
where a generator is very much about being a human doing. The generator is so uniquely gifted and magnificent in the limitless capacity of doing, receiving the inspiration on the aspects of doingness. Misty and I have no, that's, we can want until the cows turn purple and explode. It's not going to happen. It's not our purpose. It's not that one is greater than or less than or more than. It's just who we are collectively. It's how each of us is adding and expanding to the usness.
Mm-hmm. I'm chuckling a little bit internally, because even in that beingness nature that you probably actually are accomplishing a lot, right? But it doesn't look as assertive as maybe a generator might be when people look at him, because a generator has more of what seems to be an assertive energy, or they can. And so you still, even as you're in your type, you still can accomplish great and amazing things, but it's just from a different space and a different energy and a different flow. That's what I would say.
Thank you for that observation and for that acknowledgement. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it, because that
Yeah.
is true. Each and every person, each and every expression of life enhances the usness.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that language. It makes me giggle. That's so great. Something inside me is like, I love that. I love what we've chatted about today. And it's kind of funny. I wasn't planning on this, but it feels like this might be really fun for me to offer in um in my podcast. And if you're open to it, um, and allow me to, I might share this in a podcast. Are you open to that?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. So I'm always in such a creative, whatever sphere. It would be on my Welcome to Channeling podcast. It's called Welcome to Channeling.
Hmm.
And I'm feeling the urge. This is my guidance. I think how I've played with you, I've gotten enough that it'll be interesting for me to step back on my own and see if I can be in this map that you've talked about and see what questions arise or what experiences I have in that. And that feels really good to me to like kind of jump in and play with it a little bit, if that works for you. And then we can get back together and kind of chat and decide how things flow. And I'm sure you've left out some aspects that are important. I can feel that. I feel like there's these little bits that like you gave me a little, like you gave me the center of the pie, but there's some crust or something, you know, that that maybe is there that I don't see. Um, but for
Thank you for that
now,
acknowledgement. That is my divine purpose, to
yeah,
inspire,
yeah. Oh, excellent. I love
offer,
that.
offer that energy of hope, that
Yeah.
inspiration. Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, most certainly, yes. There is more.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's just giving me something to take a bite of, to taste. Like you said, let's bite into this, and eat that. This is actually something when I'm working with someone and kind of that they're playing, sometimes for us to be on the same page, I describe the taste of the space in almost food form. Sometimes I do that. And it's kind of fun because it really is actually very useful. Um, but before we end this, what I was going to ask and see is number one, if you could share, I know on the screen we have www.ourhumansynergy.com, but just say how people can contact you if it's just there or if in some other way you have offerings for people. Do you want to share that with us now? And then what I usually do and I end these podcasts with is actually me channeling a quick message, whatever wants to come through the guides. I was going to ask you, do you officially quote unquote channel?
Frequently.
Okay. Maybe it's something we both can share a message. Are you open to that?
I'm open if that call is there. Yes.
Okay. Well, it's something that maybe we can feel through. And I'm I feel like they're checking in right now. Is that I haven't channeled with someone before. So that's going to be that would be interesting. It's funny. I'm feeling the questions. Is that a possibility? No, 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 no. Yes, that is a possibility. What they are suggesting is that you open up for a few minutes, expressing what you desire, and then the end of it will be me channeling. Do you accept that?
I do. Thank you.
Excellent. All right. I love that. Okay.
I
Um,
feel
so
delighted.
first,
Oh, go ahead.
so first, do you first want to share how people can contact with you and maybe some opportunities that they can jump into this kind of exploration with you, finding what their human design is and and also just jumping into these different aspects or ways to narrow and guide themselves in their own exploration and discovery.
If you feel the call to explore more, www.ourhumansynergy.com offers a small taste of the potential. There is the availability to receive your own quantum human design chart, the initial taste, if you will, a very succinct map of possibilities. And some of it might make sense, some of it might not, and that's okay. That's a beginning point. There are ways to schedule an appointment with us, a one-on-one session where you will receive in your language a more profound understanding of who you are, why you are, how you are, and begin to build that foundation of self, that discovery, that platform from which you can discover in a guided way of inspiration and insight, where the inspiration for discovering more, a much more narrowed down, delightful way to explore self, less frustration, more understanding. If you would like to reach us via email, it's ourhumansynergy@gmail.com. The website is growing and expanding as we receive more inspiration and more guidance around what is intended to be received at this time.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing that. I just want to take a few deep breaths, and we're ready to chat with our guides. All right, Chris, go ahead and enter in however you feel, and then from there I will come in with my guides.
Wherever we are, however we are, why we are, it is all delightful. It is all perfect. And as we go about this physical life, moment to moment, experience to experience, we gather information. And when we come together, we have the opportunity to share the information, make observations about the information, and then we can collaborate and allow the information to provide knowledge about when certain pieces of information come together in a certain way, it can produce specific results. And a lot of people want wisdom, and wisdom is not something that can be given. Wisdom comes from lived experience. So choosing into receiving knowledge and testing it, making little adjustments, that's where the wisdom comes in. It's something that each person can gain. And that wisdom, we have access to that in each moment because we are one. Each one of us, each aspect of us contributes to our wisdom. Each expression of us is gifted with intuition that guidance from source, guidance from the essence of who we are. And each moment we have the option, we are encouraged to tap into that intuition and receive that wisdom. And it's okay that in some moments it's challenging. And that's why there is this foundation that offers that soul level understanding, that solid foundation, that comfort that comes from this is me. This is where I can begin. Again, this is where I can return. All is okay.
Mm. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Chris. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm smiling big time. Woohoo! All right. I'm going to key into my guides. What's interesting is that as you were channeling and I was opening to channeling, I specifically feel you in your essence, you know, how I can interpret it. And so I was directly feeling that, which is so beautiful. This is a new way that when we talk about communication or true communication, this is what I sense the reality of. A part of the possibility that we have channeling is really receiving true is experiencing true communication, which is a communion, like it's a communion of people. It's really beautiful. So thank you. And I invite all who are listening to open your channel if you are experiencing that, if you have experienced channeling or opening to it, and listen through you being an open channel. Listen as you inviting true communion in your soul. This is what I'm inviting you to do now. As I open into channeling, and that message was also channeled through me and my higher self. We are here and we are pleased to present this experience to many, many human forms. This connection and experience between what is known as Gwen and Chris, two who are on a supportive, similar path, bringing in the energy of light, love, and celebration onto the earth. In fact, they sing it in the depths of their souls. Many parts and aspects of them combined, working together in order to invite in this experience of the new earth. The new earth is a golden path. It is a way of true connection. As was spoke of before, this true connection is a oneness where separation may be seen and known that there is an experience of it, but it is not known and owned as the true reality of whence what all comes from. The true reality of what all comes from is of oneness. Even with the idea of separation of emptiness and form, all is one and truly in support of the other, and one is not without the other. This is the oneness that we speak of, and we invite you all in to experience now. Just as was spoken earlier, the idea of trust or no trust, the idea of being supported or not supported, the battle of having or not having is here now gone. For you are all simply here. All is simply here in one. We now, you now, are in a play, a discovery within this play of choice, of deciding what reality you claim and own. Gwen sees a vision now of a world of us all singing together as one in one tone, a world where there is no separation between the home that you live in and your idea of yourself. The home that you live in being the earth, manifest in all of its glory. And as the earth is manifest in all of its glory, so are you manifest in all of your glory. This expansion being claimed and owned throughout all space and time. This is a powerful time on the earth, and your simple choices make a difference. We say this to you who are listening, who think that you must be famous or do what is considered large things in order to make an impact. Your choice of owning your own creative divinity, your own unique expression, is the power that makes the new earth what it is. We say makes, or Gwen says makes. The true word that we wish to insert here is your unique expression and honoring your unique design, your own creative power is the new earth. It is the new earth in expression. And those who are here listening are invited in. Many of you are here already. And those who are here, we invite you to feel into this tone of the gold, the love that is present here. Know that you are many. You are not alone. And as you feel this emanation through your soul, you will see and know your brothers and sisters in oneness. You will know this experience beyond the battle of fear, beyond the battle of slavery and no slavery, beyond the battle of feeling secure or not secure. You now see and feel the difference between these paradigms, which are available to everyone now, and you have made the choice, and we honor you in love. We feel our time is coming to a close now, but as we leave, we honor you all. We feel your creative energy, your sense of play, your sense of excitement, and we say, we are all here together. We rise together. This does not mean that you are responsible for your fellow brothers and sisters' choices. What this means is that we are now entering into a field where simple acts, simple honesty, simple purity, and love provide the support and feedback that will then thus help others align into the new way. You offer the informing of the environment in a simple and beautiful manner. Nothing needs to be forced. All of this is done in grace. And now we feel this coming to a close, and we encourage you to explore your true nature, your divine and unique expression. And as you do so, You will rejoice in the unique qualities that you, as the aspect that you are, have come to the earth to express. And you also will delight in those around you who also are in support of you and you in support of them. You will see the divine plan, and it will become delightful to you. We offer you encouragement in this, for many of you are confused. When we say we are one, it does not mean we are not unique. These two things go hand in hand in oneness. We invite you into the flow of all that is, and we honor you all in your unique aspects here, brothers and sisters, those who define themselves beyond those names. We are all one. We leave you in love. Rejoice, for we are all one. Aho.
Thank you.
Thank you, guides. Yeah, they were on a theme. That was beautiful for me to be able to do with you. Chris, is there anything else that you would like to share before we end our beautiful experience today?
I really appreciate your inviting me in to participate in this. That's an extremely valuable gift, especially to an orchestrator. My divine purpose is to create more joy, to normalize celebration, express from a space of honoring and celebrating, and being a guide into that realm of possibilities. I am the embodiment of divine potentiality. And I look forward to connecting with every single person who resonates with that and who feels the call to discover more. I am ready. I am willing. Let's connect.
That was a beautiful way to end. Thank you so much for being with me, Chris. Have a beautiful day, and may the light expand forward. I love it. And backward and in between and everywhere and all the good stuff. Aho. Talk to you soon.
I look forward to it, Gwen. Thank you.
Click the link below to receive your very own free soul play meditation, reboot, or soul song. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Welcome to Channeling. Till the next episode, own your stage and play on. Hot Muffin Media.